Hi, and welcome to the Red Tunic Podcast, a podcast where I look to rediscover what makes gaming fun and enjoyable by having positive conversations with those related to the industry. My name is Link, and today I'm joined by Rui, 3D character artist at Riot Games. Hi, Rui. How are you doing today?
Hi, Link. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. What about you?
I am doing all right. Thanks for asking. It's a Friday for me.
Mm.
Well, Friday for both of us, I should say. It is a
Yeah, happy
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's the weekend is what I should have been saying. We're getting to the weekend. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's no work tomorrow. Hopefully no work for you tomorrow as well. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I hope so.
Well, I would hope if there's no work tomorrow when you say I hope so, that it's not just
No, I
a
mean like, yeah, it's a joke, but obviously I'm not gonna work, but
um, fantastic. I'm glad that you don't have to work tomorrow. Um, so Rui, before we get started, if you don't mind telling me and anyone listening a little bit about yourself, just so we have a better idea of who exactly you are before we, get into the questions.
yeah, of course. So my name is Rui. I was born and raised in Malaysia. I started doing 3D when I was in back in 2015. I was learning 3D for film and animation initially. So I studied there for 3 years, and then I started working at this company called Lemon Sky Studios. That was a local Malaysian company, and they mostly do outsourcing work. I know recently they've been doing their own like IPs, but back then I had the chance to work on Warcraft 3 Reforged as a junior character artist. I worked there for a short while before I moved on to San Francisco to study game development at Academy of Art University. I was there for about 4 years, and I did some internships in between. One of them is at a mobile game company called Anime Games. I did I was actually a 3D environment artist instead of a character artist. I did the arenas for this game called WWE Undefeated. I integrated some of the assets in there and then polished the environments a bit. Um, and then after that, I interned at Riot Games on my senior year. That was last year actually. I was interning at Riot Games for Valorant as a 2D character artist. Um, did that for 3 months, graduated last year, and I'm back at Riot Games full time. And I've been here for about six months now, I think. Uh, I moved I moved to LA because of it, beginning of this year. So I'm still new to LA, still exploring, but here I am.
So, thank you for sharing that, and, walking us through that journey. And also congratulations on moving up from being an intern to a full-time employee. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. However, that's how I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, I think that's really interesting that doing, you started like with the attempt for like film and animation, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much of a cross there would be in terms of that for games. Um, I don't know if you'd be able to speak to that a little better or what have you. No pressure if you can't or what have you. But I think like that. I think that's really interesting, just because I imagine they're similar-ish in terms of how you might approach it. But I don't know if you can correct me on that or not.
Yeah, it is pretty similar. So I think I can only speak to 3D art, but it is pretty transferable. Like you're kind of using the same software to make the models, right? I think it just depends on what the 3D models are gonna end up in. Is it gonna be like in a game engine, or is it gonna be in, is it gonna be rendered in like frames? Um, the the workflow is it's transferable, but the end result might be different because it depends. So for one example I can think of is for games, you know, the 3D model is gonna be looked at all angles. You're gonna look at it from the top down, front, side. So you have to make sure that all angles look good. But in for animation stuff, you could cheat. because technically you're only rendering in like frames and with like one camera angle. So you could see like if you're seeing the 3D scenes, some of the meshes could be like really messed up just to get the shot that you want. So I guess that's like one difference. But I would say it's pretty transferable.
So, you mentioning that, especially like the one angle, the one kind of camera frame or what have you, it
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of this, and I don't know if you're familiar about this or you've seen this, but there's the Dragon Ball Fighter Z game, I think it is the
Mm-hmm.
made by Arxis or what have you, the technical fighter. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen it, but someone kind of like did one of those break kind of videos where they were pulling apart like the cutscenes for their like big smashes or whatever and showing like how they do them. And
Yep.
because it's like one camera angle, you see like, I'll use like Gohan or what have you. And it's like they have like his neck like stretched up and then down at a weird angle. So that way the camera can get like his head with his hair with like his body, but his body's like kind of at a weird angle and his one arm for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason is like 20 feet back. You
Yep.
saying that just reminded me of that. And like that makes perfect sense why, like if you're doing like an animation, why you'd be like, well, screw it. I don't need to make everything perfect in terms of the reality. I just have to make it
Mm-hmm.
perfect for the shot. Um,
Exactly.
and so,
Yeah, it worked for. Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Some parts of the games do that also, like in terms of the Dragon Ball Z one. If it's like cinematics, then you could use some of those like really hacky ways to make things look perfect in the cinematic. Um, I don't know. It's just fun when players like find these frames and then they screenshot it and it becomes a meme and you just see like, haha, like that's me, that's my work. I did that.
and I think in terms of the discourse, not to try and focus on anything negative in the what have you, not the topic or not the purpose of the podcast. However, all of the ones I've seen when people find those, it's always like a funny thing. Like it's always a positive thing because I think a lot of people realize it's just cheating to make the shot work, and that makes me happy just because um it's the discourse can always be to be mean to anyone related to the industry, like the devs and everything. And it's,
Mhm.
seeing that be one of the things that's consistently everyone is enjoying no matter what makes me happy just because I, it's so easy for everyone to be mean about stupid things that should be just, like you said, it's a meme. It should be funny because it is
Yeah,
hilarious.
it is hilarious. Like, I'm not mad that like, we had to do that. I think, okay, honestly, you're not supposed to look at that in the first place. So you finding it and posting it, I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. It's just funny to us. Like, we don't really take any offense to that. I mean, unless you're like, oh, you purposely say bad things about it. But I don't know. We have fun looking at these kind of stuff too.
And I think, and that's great to hear. Now, Rui, I want to ask this because you touched on it already, so um, I don't know where this question will go in the grand scheme of things, just because you mentioned, coming from Malaysia, you started in doing 3D film and animation, where you worked, how you built up to being a character artist from the environment artist. However, how did you get into developing and making games? And if everything you said before is all you have to say on it, by all means, that's all you have to say on it. You don't have to stretch anything, is what I'm getting at there.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. So, hmm, this is a kind of a could be a long question, but I did play games when I was younger. I played a lot of like Nintendo games, Pokemon games. I played some like Maple Story, um, like anything I can get really. So I did making game. Oh, what am I saying? I did grow up playing games, but I wasn't thinking about making games because I didn't think that. I don't know why my brain just think that games just are on the shelf already. Like I just buy them and I play them, right? And then I didn't really think about making games when I was younger. And back in Malaysia, the animation scene wasn't super big in the first place, but I knew that that was what I wanted to do, and that was like close enough to like games, I suppose. It's like entertainment, right? So that was my only avenue, and then I got into film and animation back then. But I thought about I didn't really think about making games until I was working for a game company after I graduated from art school. So Lemon Sky was like one of the game companies that I joined the first time, and I got to work on Warcraft as an outsourced junior artist. And back then, uh, how to say this? I was just given a task. I did my task. I passed it off, and then when I see it in the game engine, just running about. Like I just see my model in the game. I wasn't really told how it got in there. Um, they just show like, yeah, like it looks great. You just need to do like maybe polish up some of the textures and then you're good to go. But I I don't know. It just got me curious to see like how things get done. Like how did this go from A to B in the game engine? I was curious about that, and I think as an outsourced artist, you are not privy to a lot of these like info. Back then you were just given a task, you were expected to finish the model and pass it off. So that was what piqued my curiosity again, um into making games. And I think that was one of the things that made me want to study game dev in SF. That was what led to that decision at the end, because I was curious to how things work, I guess, back behind games and everything.
So, thank you for sharing that. And I think that's a really interesting reason to kind of dive in, is that you kind of like you saw the curtain open a little and you're like, well, I want to see what's
Mm-hmm.
behind there more, right? And I just
Mm-hmm.
think that's really neat because um I don't at the top of my head, I can't recall uh how much how much other people had like a similar experience of wanting to get into it because they were curious how it worked more. So yeah, just thank you for
Mm-hmm.
sharing. That's just really interesting. Um,
Yeah.
Now, based on how you got into this, how you got into working and develop doing 3D art and such, are there any words of wisdom that you could share based on what you went through to get from point A to B to here?
Hmm. I think mm, just doing a lot of research on what you want to do in the first place, and be just keep pursuing it. Like don't let other people tell you what you shouldn't or should or shouldn't do. Um, I think the most important thing is that you stick to what you want to do, right? Like you want to make games, you are gonna find ways to make that happen. Um, just stay true to yourself, I think, and what you really want to do. And things will fall into place eventually, and you'll know what you should do next.
So thank you. That is wonderful advice, I think. Um, the focus on doing what you want to do, and as you said, staying true to yourself. I just think that's fantastic because a lot of times, you know, um, people will chase doing something, and they'll find out after the fact it's maybe not what they wanted to do, or it's something that they're not really that interested in. Uh,
Mm,
and like doing the research to figure that out, and then when you figure out what you would like to do or have a idea of it as you're doing it or working towards it, it's at that point, like regardless of what other people are telling you, if it's going to work and you're able to make it work, just keep on doing it, right? Like,
yeah.
don't let someone crush your dreams or oh no, now I just have that Shia LaBeouf meme in my head. Um just do it. Just do it. You just do it.
Don't let dreams be dreams.
Yes, exactly.
Love that.
um anyway, anyway. So thank you for sharing that. I 100% agree with that. I think it's fantastic advice. And now, I don't know how this is going to go though, just because, you said it wasn't really until you were you played games when you were younger, like Pokemon Maple Story. But it wasn't until you were putting or doing your parts of the Warcraft 3 remaster or however it was framed, and seeing things like in the game, in the world. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but was there, was there a different game maybe that got you interested in like doing this, or was it very much just that moment of seeing seeing your stuff in the Warcraft 3 entry and going, oh, I want to know more about this, and that's sort of what led you down the path of going more into games as opposed to um like animation and what have you.
Oh, yeah, I think the way I phrased it could have been taken it that way, but I think when I mentioned that, it was more of like, oh, I rediscovered oh how but I guess my passion to like make games in the past. But there are like other games that made me feel that way too. I still remember, hmm. I had a MacBook before that, and you know how like you can't play a lot of games on the MacBook, and I can only play a few of those games. And one of the games that I was crazy about back then was Skyrim, and I couldn't play that because it wasn't on a MacBook. Um, so I could only live that through YouTube playthroughs, especially like back then I was watching like Jesse Cox play it, and I would tune in every time, like every episode, just to watch him play it. And I wanted to play it so badly. So I found a way. I somehow got a copy of Skyrim on the MacBook. I almost broke my MacBook because of that, but like I got Skyrim on my MacBook. I was playing, I was downloading mods for it too, but because there was no like Nexus mods wasn't on the MacBook. I don't think I could do that. So I had to download my mods manually. I had to like put them in the like folders in the game like how do you explain this? I had to do it manually. I had to put all the files in manually, and if I put something in the wrong folder, I would break it. So I had to be really careful about that. And I think just seeing like how like there's like texture maps, there's like the FEX files, there's like all these kind of behind the scenes stuff. And I was pretty active in the modding community too. I think back then I was like trying out so many mods, as many as I could. I was following like there was this one person that was making environment mods, like house mods for Skyrim that I was following, and she made some tutorials on like, oh, how does she make the houses look like cozy, or like how does she make them look nice. So I was following those things too, and it's so interesting to me like I would want to do that too. I would want to make something and have it in Skyrim as a mod, and just being able to interact with it. Um, that was like, and I thought of like, yeah, I could do this for a living. Like I could just be a modder for the rest of my life, just making 3D models and putting it to Skyrim. I was like 12, 13 back then, so I didn't know anything about it besides like, surface levels. I'm like, I could do this all day. I could just make 3D models and put it in there. So I think that's what kind of sparked it too. Um, and also back then, I spent a lot of time. Um, I'm the type of person that will spend hours in character customization, just tweaking like every single detail, like eye width, eye height, eye type, hair type. So I will spend hours in there, like just tweaking little things and just making my character like perfect. And then all that hours will go to waste after like a few minutes in the game. I'm like, actually, I don't like this character, so I'll just make a new game. I'll just make a new character, and I'm not even playing the game anymore. I'm just playing the character customization like feature, right? So I think that's also another like launching point. Like I love making characters. I love making them look nice. Um, and I just, yeah, I don't know. Like if that could just be a game itself, I would do it. I've been doing that with Baldur's Gate 3 too. I've just spent like hours just in there like tweaking my hair color, my eye color. I don't know. That I'm just happy in character creation. Um and I guess that's how I became a character artist in the first place. Like I just love making characters. I just love making good looking ones too.
So thank you for sharing that. And there's a lot to unpack there. Not in a bad way, of course, but just the first thing I guess to pull out of the box was making Skyrim run on a Mac. I well, you were explaining it. I did a quick Google. I was like, you were right. It wasn't there. And just like the top results, just like mods or not mods, is like a how-to guide to how to make
Yep.
it work. Um, Power to you for being able to pull, like, that is very impressive that you were able to figure it out, get that working. And then also throwing mods in there. I when I would play Skyrim, like the amount of mods I would have loaded up, it would be like 10 hours and minimum hours of like trying to make all the mods like be cohesive, how to make them not like
Mm-hmm.
kill each other. And then like an hour of gameplay. I'm like, well, I'm done. I did what I got my fill, right? I did the
Yep, yep.
tutorial. I'm good. But like the dedication that you had to play the game and then also making mods work and like that leading to you, you know, wanting to find ways to step into the industry. That's just fantastic. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's just absolutely wonderful. Um,
Yeah, of course.
and then on to the character customizing thing. I think a lot of us can speak to that. I used to have a big problem with that personally, and
Oh.
the only thing that made me stop having that problem is I realized, like, if it's a game like Skyrim, I typically would play in first person. So those
Oh.
kind of games, I would spend like all this time trying to do it, and then one day I went, I'm never gonna see my character from the, like, really from anything but the back in a few times. I'll never see them from
Mm-hmm.
the front. So I'm like, I don't think I need to, like, that's what made me not spend like hours and hours. Now, don't get me wrong. Like a game like Saints Row, or like Grand Theft Auto, or like Divinity Original Sin 2. I haven't played Baldur's Gate, so I can't speak to that one. But like a game,
Mm-hmm.
similar to that, where you are going to see your character from all angles. Yeah, that's a problem. Um, I'm just like you, and I think just like everyone, I'm the same as you. I'm just going to be dedicated to that, and you know, uh, at some point probably like download a mod to make it so I don't have to restart when I want to redo my character like 10 hours in
Yep,
or whatever.
yep, yep. That is
But
always a struggle.
um and like I think you mentioned that if there's a game where that's all you did. I think I don't remember I don't remember if I'm right on this. But I think Black Desert before the game launch might have popped off
Yes.
that, or one of those like one of those Korean MMOs, which I thought was absolutely wonderful, or not wonderful, genius, because like you're gonna get people hyped about playing your game. Let them spend
Mm-hmm.
10, 15, 20 hours trying to make their character. That way they feel, like they've already invested themselves and all that time that they have to now, jump on and pay for the subscription or what have you.
Yep, yep.
I'm shocked like it's not more common just because that's a brilliant way to hook people, right?
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't know. I don't know if it's like a really good hook. Maybe initially, like just to get you into the game, but then to make you stay though. That's a whole other story. Because like speaking of, you mentioned that there are certain games where if you're not gonna see your character, there's no point like really spending all that time customizing. And I felt that pain. Like there's certain games where like the struggle of like putting on a helmet and then just covering the face and you're just never gonna see your character again. I hate those kind of again, hate is a strong word, but I really appreciate when the game has like a setting to turn off the helmet visibility. So you can see that your face and it's like and then you can see like your character in a cutscene with like I don't know, like your funky armor in cutscene. That's always like really funny to me. I always enjoy those moments. Um and then I know recently Diablo 4, I also spent some time in character customization and I obviously love seeing my character in the cutscenes too. But right now, I think after this patch, they made it so that your character is showing on the loading screen. which I think is really good too. Like you spend so much time working on your armor and like your character, you would obviously want to show it off, right? And then just seeing them on a loading screen sometimes, it's pretty cool. I just love when games let us do that, like let us enjoy seeing all of the hard work we did in we spend in character creation. But that might be just be me. Like I'm just kind of like crazy like that, you know. But
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you're probably not alone in that. Like I I played a lot of Cyberpunk, and
Mm.
that's a first person game. And one of the things I actively did, even though you never see it, not even in like cutscenes outside of like the rare one where you're in front of a mirror or what have you, I
Mm-hmm.
went out of my way to download clothing mods, um, just because like I didn't like the pants and the jackets that you had by default, and like
Oh.
I was downloading more of them that I liked, or like hair mods and stuff. And at one point, I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm never gonna see
Yeah.
it. Like um outside of like looking down and seeing my shoes, because I also know the way, I don't remember if I did this with a mod or what, but I also know the way to make sure that my field of vision, when I looked down, I could actually see like my chest, so I could see the
Oh my
jacket, the
God.
pants, and all of that. And I was like, after a while, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm, like 80-90% of the time I'm not staring at the shoes that I just spent an hour trying to find, to make sure that I could download, to make sure that I didn't overwrite other, like. But what I'm getting is, I very much think you are in the majority of people that probably enjoy that, because like if I'm playing a game, uh and there's like a hide helmet or like a hide cape option,
Yeah.
that thing is being clicked right away. Like,
Yep.
like I picked my character's hair for a reason, right? Like I picked all of the things that like that helmet's gonna hide. I picked, in most cases, the armor that they're wearing, so that cape's hiding it,
Mm.
right? So I those are like the first things I'm going for as well, because I want to see, the character. Like if I spent like 3 hours making sure that the face was the way I wanted it to be, I'm gonna make sure I can see that face, and not a one of those like helmet mask things with like the gate closed on the front. I used to know what those
Yeah.
were called, but I don't anymore.
Yeah. Just let me be immersed in my game. Like I just want that. Let me do that. But yeah, a struggle.
And even more so for games like Skyrim, where you can dress up your companion, and
Oh yeah.
even if sometimes the absolute nonsense of what you're dressing them up in, it's, at those points, it's like, well, you don't need to be cohesive. I just want to laugh at the stupid armor
Mhm.
I've slapped you in.
Yeah, yeah. Like you're the armor mule, you know, you just take whatever I give you and then you just look nice.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you know about this, but there's, in Fallout New Vegas, one of
Uh-huh.
the companions you get is like a military sniper guy. And if you take his hat and you give him like a birthday party hat and force him to wear it, um, when you're talking to him, he like, I don't remember if it's every conversation, but he basically is like, I'd like my hat back, please. I don't like
Oh
this.
my God.
Don't make me like, don't do this. Like, please take this and give me my hat back. I would appreciate, like,
Oh.
and
Wait, I love that.
it's hilarious because it's literally one of those like paper birthday party hats that you like stick on him, and he just hates it. And like the
Oh
game
man.
actively knows, like, is set up that he knows he has it, and he hates it, and he's mad at you for it.
Wait, that's amazing. Like I love when devs do these like you don't like devs don't have to like put these very specific scenarios, right? Like, oh, if character has party hat, then this interaction happens, right? There's no reason why they would have to do that, but just the fact that it's in there, I just love small moments like this, like very specific moments like this. Um, it just shows that they care and it's I just love finding small like uh very what am I saying? As Easter eggs? Like just small stuff like that. It just makes the game more fun to me. for me to find, you know?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like it's nice to see that they one had that sense of humor, but also the passion to like try and
Yeah.
sneak this little thing in to that hopefully someone finds and gets to enjoy as much as they
Hmm.
got to enjoy it, right? Because I know there's always some like devs they actively uh haunt people with like how much stuff, how many secrets are yet to be found. And I imagine some
Hmm.
are just sitting there like, I hope someone puts that party hat on them. I hope someone puts that party hat on them.
Right? And then like and who knows if like someone will ever find a party hat. Some I feel like there are certain Easter eggs where they're just never found and the devs are probably just like shaking their hands like, when am I gonna find a YouTube video about this? I just need that, you know? Just the thought of it is so funny. I know one of the games, I mean Stardew Valley is pretty famous for that too. Like the dev he he claimed to have a lot of Easter eggs that until now is still not found, and who knows how many are in there, you know? And I know players are still actively looking for them, and he's always teasing about like, there's like actually 20 more in there. You just gotta find them. I don't know. It just makes you want to play the game, I guess. I just love stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And like I've come across some of like the secret ones that they put in, that
Mm.
Concerned Ape put in. Like I think and like every time I just find it by accident, be like, what the hell is this? And like, look up at the
Yeah.
wiki. And it's like, oh, it's because you went into the bushes and like you went into this specific bush at this time and you pressed use and you found a statue. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, how many, like, what was the chain of events I accidentally did to make this work? Right. Like, I
Yeah,
absolutely
right?
love those ones.
Have you ever had moments where you found an Easter egg, you look it up on Wiki, and there's no results? Like you don't know what this actually is?
So I haven't personally, but, um, I watched a YouTube video about something like this for Oblivion
Hmm.
from years ago, and it was how you can start like a whole goblin war, and how there's like an item that the goblins have that they will hunt down, get, and bring back to their goblin cave. And there's like 5 or 10 goblin different camps, and
Hmm.
for years people would accidentally trigger it without realizing what it is that they did to trigger it. And it's one of those things where you would look it up and there would just be like rumors of it because they'd be like, "Oh, I found this or I had this," and like people would be like, "No, you're lying. Like this isn't possible. I can't recreate it because the conditions to make it work were so like specific." Um,
Hmm.
until like just a few years back, I think it was on a game from like over 10 years ago. At this point, someone finally sat down and was like, "Oh wow, so this leads to this to this to this." But I absolutely love that. When I was younger, I played a lot of a game called Harvest Moon 64. Um,
Oh my gosh, yes.
and one of the biggest rumors then was that for anyone who's never played Harvest Moon 64, I think this was the only one that even had this mechanic. I honestly cannot remember if Back to Nature, Friends of Mineral Town, like that's effectively the one everyone thinks of when they think of Harvest Moon or what have you for Story of Seasons. But
Hmm.
in Harvest Moon 64, your achievements were pictures. So if you did a certain life event, a photographer came and took a picture and you filled out a photo album, um, and usually it was tied to like big events, like the horse race festival or what have you, doing different things. And one of the biggest rumors when I was younger was a second photo album. And in the
Ooh.
end, it was just everyone lying about how to do it. But it was like the internet in like 1999, 2000. So like
Hmm.
at that point, especially, I don't know what most people, I didn't know that you shouldn't believe everything you read on the internet. So, like, I
Ooh.
believed it and was trying all this stuff and like posting on like message boards. And people were like, oh, yeah, you do this. And, now think back, like, all those people were just lying. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was a 12-year-old kid. They were lying to a child. How dare they?
I mean, imagine lying on the internet, like just spreading misinformation. Like who would do that on the internet, you
to
know?
to children, no less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just unrelated, well, kind of. When I was, a few years before that, my a friend of mine, he used to make fun of me because I would come into school and like parrot everything I read online for games as if it were the truth.
Hmm.
So I was like 11, 12. I thought it was real. Um, and because of that, it became a joke that everything I said was just a flat out lie because
No.
I legitimately thought all of those like stupid rumors were true. And I'd be like, yeah, you can totally play as Luigi in Mario 64. Like, I read it. This is how you do it. It's like, I was a child. I was an idiot. I was like 12. Leave me alone. But yeah, like back
Yeah.
then, it was unimaginable that people would just go onto the internet and lie like that.
Yeah, imagine. But I think that's one of the more, how to say this, like you find something on the internet and then if you want to find out if it's true, so you try it out, right? Like there's certain things that you wouldn't think of. Yeah, like who would think of this? But you're also kind of curious. So you log on the game and you try it and then I don't know, like it's just you just find out if it's true or not. And then if you find it good, if you don't, then I guess like I'm not regretting the time that I spent playing the game because it's so fun, right?
Yeah. And like, back then, part of the problem of chasing like these little Easter eggs was, some of them were so inherently tied to doing things in a time limit as well, or like a specific way.
Mm,
And like, there was no YouTube then. Like,
yeah.
if if your friend's older brother walked up to you and was like, if you beat Super Metroid in under an hour, the end scene is her standing there is Samus standing in a bathing suit, you would you had no way to prove that they were lying to you, right? Like it wasn't like you
Yeah.
just be like, let me pull up YouTube and see if this is true and see this. Like you just had to believe them. And then if you didn't pull it off, like you just you just either assumed one, they were lying, and when you couldn't do something, it was easier to say they were lying, or
Hmm.
you just accepted that you suck and you couldn't do it, or you
Yeah.
kept trying, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the whole, trust me, bro, trust me. This is really in the game.
Yeah,
And yeah, sure, I
exactly.
guess.
My uncle John Nintendo told me so.
Yeah, yeah, like of course, like I have my uncle's working at Nintendo and he told me all of this, so that's therefore it's true. But yeah, back in those days.
So, Rui, I want to ask this just because, I have a feeling it's going to be Skyrim, but if it's not, I'd like to, to know and, see what makes this game so special to you. But, do you have a favorite game, and like what if it wasn't Skyrim, what was it about that game that made it your favorite, that makes it stand above all else? And if it is Skyrim, you know, feel free to say see 20 minutes ago or see 10 or what have you.
Okay. I'm not gonna say Skyrim because I think uh it is mainly nostalgia. I think that makes it like fun for me because I was still a kid, right? Now that my brain is somewhat fully developed, I look back at Skyrim like, I don't know why I love this game so much. But if I had to pick one that I really enjoy, I would say Divinity would be like up there. I love the story. I didn't get all of the endings, but so far, like the time that I've spent in that game is amazing. I would love to like experience playing it for the first time again. Um, and then just like having to pick your character, like the elf, the Red Prince, Fane, and just going through like there's so I love games where they just throw you in there and like, all right, just just mess around and find out, like just do whatever you have to do, talk to whatever NPCs. I don't know, I just have a lot of fond memories of that game, especially with friends too. I've played with friends and we like um I won't say break the game, but we went on a killing spree and that did not end well. So I just have a lot of fond memories like that. I love games where um you you can just look back and be like, yeah, do you remember that one time when like this guy did this? And you're like, yeah, yeah, I love moments like that. So Divinity is on top of there. And then there's also Valheim. I spent a lot of time in Valheim with some friends, and just having that sense of community in there too is really fun. We died a lot of times though to bosses, but it's just I don't know what kept me in there. Like it's just fun to me, especially the just having to mess around with friends. Um, I think those would be the top two, I think, that come up from the top of my head. Yeah.
So, thank you for sharing that. And, speaking more specifically to Divinity and like breaking the game, um, I, I played Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 with my friend, and I
Hmm.
can't think of anything that we specifically did in 2 that broke things, but in
Hmm.
1 we managed to sequence break like I want to say a good chunk of the entire quest just because we wandered
Oh.
off and managed to like break into a place that we shouldn't have been. And then like we skipped a whole bunch of the game and we're talking to some NPCs and like, oh yeah, you guys went and did this. And both of us stopped and we like, we would be drinking when we played these games and both of us had to stop and be like, we're both sober enough to know they're talking nonsense, right? Like we actively skipped a bunch of the stuff, but the game wasn't set up to acknowledge that skip.
Yeah.
So it was just like if you're here and you're talking to this NPC because you did X, Y, and Z, you clearly did all this other stuff. And we're like, well, we can't backtrack now. Okay, whatever. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, sure. I'll just go along. Used to say like,
yeah,
sure.
we definitely did that thing you
Hmm.
said. Yeah, sure, yeah. Um, And then the other one, just because I love sharing this one, I don't know if this was like before a patch, but like you weren't supposed to be able to attack ghosts in
Oh.
Original Sin. We killed a ghost and we broke a quest line.
Oh no.
All because like you said, you went on killing sprees. I said to my friend basically, I'm like, hold my beer, watch what I can do, and I just like force attack the ghost, and the ghost like popped and vanished. And we're just
Oh,
standing there. We're like, okay, we killed a ghost. Whatever. Funny. Haha. The
well,
quest is now
yeah,
open.
we found out. Yeah, like you actually can kill one, and things are
Well,
broken now.
it wasn't broken until later on where you're supposed to reunite like this dead husband with his dead wife.
Oh
And then the wife
no.
went and she's just a ghost standing there over like a ghost corpse kind of thing. And she's just standing there because the trigger can't go because the husband's not there. Like the game knew that he didn't exist, so it couldn't trigger.
Oh
Um
no.
But sorry, you saying you tried to like break the game reminded me of breaking Original Sin 1. We weren't able to break 2, unfortunately, or fortunately, because, who knows
Yeah,
what would have happened.
who knows? But I'm glad. Like, thanks for sharing that memory. Like, that's why I love playing these kind of games, right? Like, you get to recall these, like all the weird things or like funny things that you found out, and yeah, it's just, I don't know. It holds a special place in my heart, I think, because of those memories.
And I think that's the important thing, like being able to like think back on those, like on the things that you got to do. Um
Mm-hmm.
like you said in Valheim, chasing down the bosses or like I don't know. I'm going to assume maybe trying to build like um a big structure and having like the structure collapse
Yep.
on you, or maybe smoking yourselves out and killing everyone in their
Oh
sleep
my
because you
God.
didn't do the roof right or something.
Yes, yes, that happened a lot. Like, I didn't think that I would have to. n- I had to be like an architecture student, like going into Valheim, like, all right, we need to like lay out our base like this so that we don't die from the smoke, right? And obviously someone doesn't listen, and then they will like cover up the vents, and then we were like, oh, actually, is your game like, oh, why is it all gray in here? And then we all just die, right, from like smoke poisoning. Come on, but it's just, yeah, fond memories from Valheim.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm always happy to hear stuff like that or just what have you, because it's also fun to share because like everyone's done that. Maybe you have that one friend that just never learns and keeps doing it, and you like have to sit there after like the fourth or fifth time and be like,
Mm-hmm.
you get your own hut outside. You get your own private
Yeah.
hut. You can that's for you, just you.
Yeah.
You build your own fire. That's good luck.
Mm-hmm. Good luck out there. Here's your wood. Here's your fire. Here's your rocks. You do your own thing. I'll see you later.
Yeah, we'll see you when the sun comes up.
Yeah.
Now, Rui, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. However, I do want to talk a little bit about, not gaming stuff. I want to talk about like you outside of gaming and what you do, like what you enjoy doing, and what you do to relax. Like, you had mentioned that you went from Malaysia to San Francisco, I believe it was, and now to LA, and
Mm-hmm.
you're just learning that. So, like, outside of working at Riot, making character stuff for Valorant or what have you, what do you do? What do you enjoy doing?
Hmm. Can I say playing games? No. Um,
That
okay,
is a valid
obviously, yes,
answer, obviously.
of course. I would play games. I'm playing like Baldur's Gate and Diablo 4 right now, but I also like play some games on my Switch. But other than games, I don't know. I just like exploring, like finding new places to eat. I picked up crocheting like a few months ago, so I've been trying that out. I sketch during my free time. I do some like figure drawing, and also just going out to like sketch people with like sunglasses on. I'm just sitting in a corner, not being a weirdo or anything. I'm just sketching. Um, but and then sometimes I'll go. If I'm in a mood, I'll just go rock climbing with friends. I picked up bouldering because of that. I have this friend that is very much into bouldering, and he convinced me to go. Um, I'm still very afraid of heights, but I think I'm slowly getting past that. I'm enjoying it a lot more. I recently just got like uh recently just went for like a top rope class, so hopefully that goes well in the future. But other than that, I don't know, just spending time with friends. Oh, board game nights. Sometimes we do have board game nights with friends. Um, that's always fun. But other than that, I don't know. I think I don't want to say I live a boring life, but I sometimes just spend time to myself also, just to recharge my batteries. But that's kind of it
So,
outside of.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say thank you for sharing that. And I don't think I'm trying to think of how to phrase this, but I don't think you should worry about like, a quote unquote a boring life or what have you, right? Like, I sometimes when you're just doing things, when you're like living or what have you, right? That it's just like you do things, and those things to you or to some people they might be boring, and screw those people, right? Like,
Mhm.
you don't have to justify what you enjoy as exciting or what have you to anyone else. Like if 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 you enjoy being the person with the oversized sunglasses on in the corner sketching people, by all obviously that's probably not how you do it, but what I mean is like if that's what you enjoy doing, that's who is anyone to judge you on that, right? Like, everyone enjoys doing their own thing, like you said, to recharge their batteries. And I think anyone that's gonna like judge anyone for, you know, their standards of it is, like I said, screw them. They don't get a
Mhm.
say in it, right?
Facts. I love that.
So I do want to
Let
ask if
people enjoy things. Sorry. Oh, let people enjoy things. Okay. Sorry, I cut you off. Go
no,
ahead.
no worries, no worries. But no, you're right. A lot of people enjoy things, and that's a good lead to this real quick. Um,
hmm
what's the difference between bouldering and rock climbing? I don't know.
Oh, okay. I use that term, like I use both of those terms, exchangeably. I don't know if that's the word, but I'm sure there's a more technical term for that. But I'm assuming bouldering is like without the rope, right? You just kind of free like climb indoors on the wall with no rope, no support. Um, rock climbing is like if you actually go out to rock, like actual climb on actual rocks in nature. I might be wrong on that. Because I use that word exchangeably, and I'm still new to this. So, uh, people that climb. please do not mind me, but that is my definition. So yeah.
Well, awesome, and thank you for that. And the other one was, can you explain what top rope is?
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, yeah. Top rope is when you so for bouldering, you're climbing the wall. It's usually like pretty short. It's not super high up, but top rope is when you like, you have the belay. Oh, how do I explain this? You hook yourself up to a rope. Okay, TLDR, you hook yourself up to a rope on your waist, and then you kind of climb up to like 20 feet. And then once you're done, you have someone else down there, lowering you on back to the ground, and then you repeat that again. Um, it's basically you climb higher with a rope for support, so you don't die if you fall. Um, I think it's pretty fun. Like, it's like a fun social activity you do with like your partner. That's
So, thank you for explaining that. I had never heard of top rope. So I think that's really neat. And, sorry, when I was laughing, it was more at the, so you don't die. Cause that is the ideal thing of all hobbies, I
yes,
feel. Like,
of course.
I don't think anyone that's bouldering or what have you, wants to be known for dying while doing that just as much as anyone that's, enjoying crocheting wants to be known as dying because they stab themselves with their, needle thing.
Yeah, yeah, that is not ideal. You wouldn't want to do that.
So, Rui, as I said, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I do want to rattle this one off from you real quick, though, just
Mm-hmm.
because you said you are exploring LA and you do board game night. Um, is there any place cool you found that you think other people should check out in LA that you found and thought is cool?
Ooh. Hmm. That is a tough question because honestly, I do not have a car in LA. So that is already like very limiting, right? I can't go like too far off. Um, I do love this one restaurant. Um, it's called Lonzo's. It's uh Peruvian Peruvian food. Uh, we found that recently through a friend, and I think that was one of the best food I had in a while. The saltadas are amazing. But other than that, mm, there's this one place that we went to sketch called what's it just called the platform? I think it's a really nice small little like outdoor mall kind of thing. They have pretty good ice cream there. Um, and they have a small like park, like they have a dog park there. The time when we went to sketch, it was kind of sad because there wasn't a lot of dogs running around. I would have loved to sketch some dogs, but we sat in a corner to draw like some more people, and that was uh one of my favorite places. I think I will want to go there more often. But other than that, I frequent Sawtell a lot, like the one street with a lot of food. Um, One of my favorite places is on the street anyway, is Mellow Mellow. It's like a coconut jelly place with mango chunks in it. That is my go-to dessert in that area. But those three would be my favorite places in LA so far.
So, thank you for sharing those recommendations or what you've discovered. If I'm ever allowed back in LA or just in LA in general, I will try and keep that in mind to take a look at, and
Wait,
hopefully other people.
what do you mean by allowed back in LA? You sound like you're not have you done something in LA that makes you not be able to come back?
Sorry, we don't need to worry about it. It's all good. It's all good.
All right,
And
all right. Got it.
outside of that as well, um, is there, if you guys are sitting down to a board game night, is there like a board game that you are looking forward to or that you'd say other people should check out?
Ooh. Hmm. I really enjoyed playing this one called Lost Ruins of Arnak. It's like a resource based, like resource gathering, deck building type of game where you find yourself in this jungle and you're trying to explore this snake temple or bird temple depending on like the side of the board that you play with. And then you go around exploring different parts of the forest, gather resources, and yeah, like you just win. The person with the most point win. And the fun part is that there are some guardians that you have to defeat too with the resources that you have. So that's always fun. I would recommend checking that out.
So thank you for that recommendation as well. I will, I enjoy board games when I have the room and or time. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take a look at that one. So thank you for that recommendation. Anyone else, check it out as well if you're into board games. It might be something that's up your alley.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rui, as I said, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I do want to let you get on with your evening. Enjoy your weekend. However, if there was anything else you want to discuss, like a cool game, what else you're doing, or something you just feel more people should be aware of, by all means, the floor is yours. As well, please let everyone know where they can find more information about you, which I'll also include in the episode description.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't know. Just I've just been in Baldur's Gate 3, so I guess check that out if you all wanna, spend 1 hour in character creation. Go ahead. That's the best game to do it right now. I don't have really anything else to say, but you could check me out on Twitter and Instagram. Those are, uh, I'm most active on those social media sites. But if you do want to check out my work, it's available on ArtStation. I love to like talk to more devs and people that are just tell me what kind of games you like enjoy to play and what games you would recommend me to play. I love to talk to more devs also about like just collabing. Um, but yeah, that's all from me.
So awesome. So thank you so much for that. I will be sure to include your Twitter, your Instagram, and your ArtStation. And, hopefully if any devs listen to this and they want to reach out, they know where to find you and they do so.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you so much again for like having me on your podcast, Link. It was really great talking to you.
Rui, the pleasure was all mine. I really do appreciate you making the time to have this conversation with me. So like, definitely, you're welcome, but like I feel weird saying you're welcome. But thank you. Uh
Yeah.
so Rui, if there wasn't anything else, I will let you get on with your evening though.
All right. Yeah, I think that's all from me.
Awesome. So thanks again to Rui for making time to have this conversation with me, and thank you for joining us on the Red Tunic podcast, as well as a special thanks to Ron Jenkins for the use of the music from the title track from Road Steep. And be sure to check out the episode description for links to socials, websites, and other means that will allow you to learn more about or support Rui and the podcast. And while you're doing that, also be sure to like, follow, and be sure to share if those you think might also enjoy it. Thanks. Till next time.